So there's a lot of discussion about whether or not Darrell Brooks Jr. is going to last a long time in prison. And my personal opinion is that he's probably going to be around for a lot longer than a lot of folks think. And that's primarily because the state of Wisconsin has a lot on the line. They cannot afford to look stupid. They do not want to look stupid. You got to realize that a facility has corrections officers, it has medical staff, mental health staff, it has assistant wardens, deputy wardens, wardens. These are folks that have career paths within the Department of Corrections. They may have aspirations for higher positions in law enforcement. They may even want to run for elected office. A death like this, or a stabbing, look at what happened to Larry Nassar, that monster gymnast coach who abused so many students of all ages. He was just recently stabbed. That facility now is, the butt of jokes for a lot in the corrections community, because how could they allow this to happen to such a high-profile inmate after being incarcerated for such a short amount of time? Now, public opinion is, he got what he deserved and then some, and he should get more. But that's public opinion. When you're talking about running a correctional facility, if you can't keep high-profile inmates safe, it looks bad for the administration. It looks bad for the corrections officers. It looks bad for the wardens. It looks bad for everybody. Security is the name of the game in a facility like that. And if you can't ensure security, they're not going to give you a bigger prison. They're not going to, appoint you to positions, and you're certainly not going to be able to run for elected office if you couldn't run a facility. How are you going to run a county or a state, or represent constituents at the national level? So you look at Whitey Bulger. Whitey Bulger was murdered in his own cell. He was on the run from the FBI. He was on the top 10 most wanted list for decades, and he wasn't in prison for very long. They moved him around a bunch of times. They had a lot of different protocols for him, but yet he was murdered by a deranged prisoner, and it's just one of those things. I mean, it made the headlines, and people were like, finally he got what he deserved, but the institution looks utterly ridiculous. I mean, they can't control their own facility, and so the reality of the matter is the state of Wisconsin has done everything to ensure that Darrell Brooks Jr. got a fair trial and then some, even though Don Woods may go around saying otherwise. He got a more than fair trial. And then on top of that, he's got an appeal now, and every single case that he's had, he's had either representation or he's turned that down. He's had fair judges. He's had, a lot more help gathering and presenting evidence than any criminal defendant anywhere that I can think of in recent memory, or even going back decades. So for them to drop the ball and let something happen to him on their watch, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that, he's probably going to die of old age or natural causes, but he's not going to die at the hand of someone else, just because the state of Wisconsin does not want to look stupid. And they would look stupid to the rest of the country and around the world, because it would have happened on their watch. And they're not about to let that happen. Like I said, you've got correction officers in there that are not about to put their well-being at risk, because they would also have to do that for this to happen. I mean, it's my understanding he's in protective custody. Yeah, he's being watched. And so for him to get hit, COs would have to get hit. And I don't see that happening. I also don't see, assistant wardens, deputy wardens, or the warden himself or herself allowing it to happen, because that's a career killer for them. If you're the warden in the prison that has Darrell Brooks Jr., who's probably the highest profile inmate in the state of Wisconsin, I can't think of another. If you can, let me know. But the amount of interest that this trial generated, and the amount of people that dislike this guy, I mean, you're talking about gangs, you're talking about individuals, you're talking about lone wolves. Everybody wants probably to take a piece at this guy, and they want to be able to take the credit, because that's how it is in prison. It's a dog-eat-dog type environment. And if you're the guy, or, there's no women, I don't think, but maybe in the staff, I don't know. But if you're the person that takes out Darrell Brooks Jr., that's some credibility, obviously. Just like the lunatic that took out Whitey Bulger. That's, you took out, so the thing is that they're not about to let that happen. And the fact that he's such a complainer, the fact that he's such an attention person, from a comment that I got here at the Sight Sounds Flavors YouTube channel. I actually made a video for the everythingelsechannel.com There's a person that commented here who is friends with a nurse at the facility where Darrell Brooks Jr. is being held, and according to that comment, Darrell Brooks Jr. complains every single day of a different ailment. Every single day he's in medical. So, you know, he knows that if the comment is true, he knows how to get people's attention. He's probably going to file all sorts of frivolous lawsuits. He's going to sue pretty much left, right, and center, wardens, COs, nurses, psychiatrists, even people maybe that come to bring him books or that come to give him services, worship services. He's an individual that is a toxic, hateful person. We saw it in the trial. I mean, if he was making a mockery of the witnesses during their impact statements, of the victims during their impact statements, I mean, you know, you could hardly expect anything else from him as an inmate, especially once his appeals are exhausted, once all these trials end with him attacking Erica Patterson and attacking other individuals. Then he's going to have to resign himself to being a number, to being told, because he said to the judge during the trial, "You don't tell me what to do, you ask me." Well, Darrell's going to be told what to do for the rest of his life. And, you know, he may not, you know, he didn't like being called Darrell Brooks Jr. Well, now he's not even Darrell Brooks Jr. He's a number, you know, so he's going to really hate that. So you can only imagine how toxic he's going to become. But with that being said, he's going to draw a lot of attention to himself because this is something that he does. And I just don't think that the state of Wisconsin is going to allow anything to happen to him. I don't think he's going to get jumped. I don't think he's going to get stabbed. I certainly don't think he's going to get killed. I think that there are far too many careers on the line to ensure that he be safe and that he carry out his sentence. And again, you know, he didn't get the death penalty because there is no death penalty, but to do right by the victims, to get real justice, means that he is to serve every last day of his life behind bars, because that is what real justice and that is what the real punishment will be. If he gets killed tomorrow, then in a way, he got a way out. He didn't really do any time. So that's another reason why I think the state of Wisconsin is not going to allow anything to happen to him. The fact that, let's say he lives 20, 30 years, that he has to live incarcerated, deprived of freedom, is justice for the victims. If he gets to check out tomorrow, whatever the circumstances, that's not justice. The other thing that I think is worth noticing or worth mentioning is the fact that aside from, you know, others harming him, I think that there's probably a concerted effort by the state of Wisconsin through its wardens and COs and staff to make sure that he does not harm himself either. Look at the guy in Cleveland, what was his name, that kidnapped those 3 girls and kept them incarcerated, imprisoned in his home, and was violating them and beating them and caused even one to have a miscarriage. That monster, what was his name? Hopefully somebody will leave it in the comments. Well, he got sentenced to like 1,000 years, and then he offed himself. He committed suicide. So he really didn't serve anything. I also don't think that the state of Wisconsin will allow Darrell Brooks Jr. to hurt himself or to allow him to check out early by his own hand. So no, I don't think anything's going to happen to him. I think that they're very, very much committed to him living a long and difficult life. And, you know, it's not like they're torturing him. The greatest torture is being deprived of freedom and being told what to do, when to do it, and knowing that he can't get out. And that, in a way, is punishment. And some people, if you ask around the world, some people will tell you that life imprisonment is as cruel and inhumane as the death penalty. And so whatever it may be, if he suffers, that's a good thing, because there's 6 people that are no longer with us, and there's about 80 that are injured in varying capacities, and there's thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people whose lives will never be the same again, and they're all because of Darrell Brooks Jr.